had made it impossible for him to get enough votes in the Senate to confirm his choice to be the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. And today, Donald Trump surrendered and withdrew his choice for Congress. Well, today, Donald Trump retreated and surrendered twice. Once in his trade war and once again in the United States Senate. We reported on this program last night that Donald Trump's increasing political weakness, confirmation to that position. And while he was at it, Donald Trump admitted, in effect, that he's just too old and too weak to do his job.
Did you see Trump literally freeze up like a Windows 95 computer when a reporter hit him with actual facts? It wasn't a brain freeze from too much ice cream. It was a total system crash after someone dared to question his amazing trade war genius. Lawrence O'Donnell and Stephanie Ruhle basically broke the former president with simple economics, comparing his tariff strategy to a toddler scribbling on a napkin. Trump's response: he went full tantrum mode on Truth Social with typo-filled rants about the deep state. Coincidence? I think not.
Plus the vice president to achieve that Senate confirmation. And you know, he only had to make one phone call to get that nomination through the Senate.
I can only lift that little phone so many times in a day.
That's how Donald Trump explained his inability to get the 50 votes he needs from Republican senators. That would be a phone call to Republican Senator Thom Tillis on the Senate Judiciary Committee, who publicly came out and defied Donald Trump, as we reported to you here last night.
Remember when presidents could actually finish sentences? You know, that thing where your brain connects words in a row until you've completed a thought? Well, Trump just proved that's totally 2015 thinking. At his recent press conference, our former commander-in-chief went from confident blabbermouth to confused goldfish faster than you can say stable genius. The whole meltdown started when a reporter, doing that weird journalism thing where they ask questions based on facts, confronted Orange Turd about his spectacular trade war failures. Remember when he promised 90 trade deals in 90 days? Well, 26 days in, and the scoreboard showed a big fat 0. That's like promising your mom you'll clean your room every day for a month, and then just shoving everything under the bed instead. The reporter basically said, "Hey, about those deals you promised," and Trump's face cycled through denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance faster than a toddler who's been told the ice cream shop is closed. His brain went full blue screen of death. You could practically see the spinning wheel of doom above his head.
And today, Donald Trump just publicly and meekly surrendered to Thom Tillis, to that one Republican senator who stood in his way. Because Donald Trump is now so politically weak among Republicans in the United States Senate, Thom Tillis said no publicly. I will not vote for Donald Trump's choice, with Donald Trump saying, I can only lift that little phone so many times in a day. The single stupidest explanation a president has ever given.
What happened next was pure comedy gold. Trump froze mid-sentence like someone hit pause on the remote. His hands started doing this weird floaty thing that wasn't quite sign language, but definitely wasn't normal human behavior. Then he mumbled something about tariffs being weapons, not tools, which is exactly what someone who doesn't understand tariffs would say. Then Lawrence O'Donnell and Stephanie Ruhle jumped in with the economic fact check nobody asked for, but everybody needed. They compared his trade strategy to a toddler scribbling on a napkin, which honestly seems unfair to toddlers, who at least create original art. Trump's team went into total damage control, but fact-checking their boss is like trying to bail water from the Titanic with a sippy cup. The simple reporter question broke him because it attacked the one thing Donnie Diapers can't stand losing, his image as the world's greatest deal maker. His response, full keyboard smashing tantrum on Truth Social.
He actually chose Fox host 73-year-old Jeanine Pirro to serve as the acting U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. Imagine the screaming from the White House press corps if Joe Biden had ever said anything like that. By the end of the day, Donald Trump had come up with a truly preposterous temporary appointment. Donald Trump's other big retreat was on the world stage today. The Wall Street Journal describes it in this headline: Trump stages a trade war retreat. The Wall Street Journal said Republicans want to pretend this retreat is genius at work.
Complete with misspelled rants about the deep state and somehow demanding an apology from himself. Yes, you read that right. Grumpy Trumpy was so confused he wanted himself to apologize to himself. The whole sad episode shows what happens when Trump's fantasy world of big beautiful deals crashes into the brick wall of reality. Spoiler alert, reality wins every time, and Trump's brain takes the hit. So Trump's little brain freeze wasn't just funny, it was actually pretty scary if you know what the brain doctors have been saying. Mental health experts have been waving red flags about Trump's behavior since he first rode down that golden escalator and called Mexicans rapists. That's not normal president stuff, folks. There's this book called The Dangerous Case of Donald Trump, written by 27 actual psychiatrists, not Dr. Facebook or Professor Twitter. Real brain doctors with fancy degrees and everything. These smart people broke their usual don't diagnose from afar rule because they were genuinely freaked out by what they saw in Grumpy Trumpy's behavior. These psychiatrists weren't just being dramatic, they saw some truly concerning patterns that point to what they call malignant narcissism and sociopathy. Now, I'm no brain scientist, but those words sound about as good as flesh-eating bacteria or IRS audit. The scary part, the book warned these mental issues could get worse over time, like fine wine, except the opposite, more like milk left in a hot car. When that reporter asked about his failed trade promises, Orange Turd didn't defend himself with facts or figures. He couldn't even form basic sentences. His brain just went poof like magic. Instead of answering, he started making weird hand gestures like a malfunctioning robot. His economics knowledge seems limited to tariffs are weapons to hurt other countries. That's like saying hammers are just for smashing things. Most actual economists view tariffs as complex tools in a broader strategy, not playground weapons for a tantrum-throwing man-child. What specifically broke Trump's brain circuit? That simple question about his 90 trade deals in 90 days promise. When confronted with the reality that he delivered exactly 0 deals after 26 days, Donnie Diapers had a complete meltdown. The challenge to his self-image as the world's greatest deal maker was too much for his fragile ego. Meanwhile, US automakers are sweating bullets about his trade threats, especially against British luxury cars. They know Trump's economic tantrums could cost real American jobs. The scariest part isn't one weird press conference where Trump forgot how words work. It's what happens when someone with these mental patterns gets actual power again. When a guy who views economic policy as weapons to hurt others sits in the Oval Office, we're all in danger, not just of embarrassment on the world stage, but of real economic harm. So what have we learned from Trump's little mental blue screen of death? When his fragile ego meets actual facts, his whole system crashes faster than Windows Vista. The guy literally forgot how to talk when a reporter asked a simple follow-up question about his failed trade promises. The real story isn't just Trump making weird hand gestures like a malfunctioning robot. It's how easily he breaks when anyone challenges his fantasy world with basic economic facts. Maybe we don't need fancy political strategies to deal with Orange Turd after all. Maybe we just need more reporters who aren't afraid to ask simple questions and wait for his brain to short circuit.